Who is your role model growing up?
My grandmother, my mother's mother, because she was so kind and so tolerant, and she just loved having us there all the time. And I just thought she was the best grandmother in the world, and I wanted to be like her.
That sounds like you.
Aww.
I have an aunt. Her name's Mireya. She's the coolest. She has the coolest clothes, and she always does really good in school. And I felt like she never had to try. She has a positive attitude all the time. Like, how do I be like that? And that was just something I always wanted. It was just for people to be positive and uplifted when they saw me. Like, I just wanted that all the time.
For a large part of my life, younger life at least, was my uncle Matt. He's only maybe about 5 years older than me, so he's always kind of been an older brother for me. I spent a lot of my time growing up with him and playing with him, and so I've taken on a lot of his interests.
Probably my brother. I looked up to him a lot. I mean, he wasn't in my life a whole lot because, unfortunately he had to grow up really fast, but we used to watch wrestling together. We'd always play wrestling and stuff like that. I think I looked up to him in a lot of ways.
Ava.
Who's Ava Larkin?
My friend.
That's your friend, okay?
My grandparents. My grandparents were the filler parents when my mom wasn't around. We did lots of great things together. He had a ranch, and I remember every morning we'd take a tractor ride out, and we would go and throw the trash in this giant hole he had at the end of his acreage.
I always stay with my grandmas and my grandfathers.
Probably Grandma Sandy.
Probably my grandpa.
My grandpa. Him and my grandma.
I was trying to say my grandpa is one of my biggest role models.
I always looked at him as like just what a man should be, like that's very supportive of his family and just a good person and very caring. He was like a father figure.
He used to box. He won the Golden Gloves the night before, got beat up, bruised up, and then by 4 a.m. he went straight to work. He worked at the newspaper. No excuses, nothing. Even when he didn't have a car, he would walk 2 hours to work because that's this kind of person he was. He did what he had to do. Every time you asked him how he was doing, he'd say, "I'm doing fine and dandy like sugar candy, no matter what." And I really appreciate that.
I've had kind of role models throughout my military career, and one particular person stands out to me. Her name was Ramona Orem, but she was the one I think who made me who I am today. And although it was a tough working under her and she did make me cry at work every single day, I think it did help me become who I am. And I realize now, as I'm a supervisor and been a manager for years, I just realized everything that she did to me and made me who I am today. So
probably LeBron James. Yeah, when I was in elementary school, you remember, I used to love LeBron James.
Loving basketball, always loved the Spurs. Ginobili was a role model of mine. The whole Spurs organization I thought was really good during times we were growing up.
I'd probably say it would be my dad.
That was my dad. That's easy.
I guess it would kind of be like family.
My dad, because he was in the Air Force and I wanted to follow in his footsteps, or eventually did follow in his footsteps, I guess.
That would be my dad. He did like amazing things. He was just, not perfect, of course, but he was pretty close.
My dad was a good role model, and my mom were good role models.
My mother and my father, both of them.
It would be my parents.
My father, my mother were both role models.
My dad. I wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to be a father like my dad. He was always there for me, always did things with me. He was the one that I could talk to whenever I had problems or issues or just needed advice. My dad was the go-to, and I always looked up to him and wanted to be like him.
Your grandmother had mental illness, and I watched my dad do the best he could in loving my mom and caring for her, even when she wasn't in her right mind. But he still tried to fight and keep it together for the family, love her as best he could, and take care of her and us.
It's my mother. All the hard work I've seen her put in, especially
whenever I was little and not realizing how much she put in for us.
My mom, easily. I love my mom, and well, I mean, I love both her parents. I'd see both of them as a role model.
My dad's always worked very hard. We didn't always have the most in life, and somehow we were still able to have a good life.
Is there any part of you that would be different without them?
Everything would.
Probably all of me.
Do you feel like maybe you got any part of you from your mom?
I think I'm a hardworking person.
I'd say Grandpa's temperament, because I've gotten older.
He was a jokester, and I like to kid around too, so I got that from him.
Like a motivation and mentality.
Hardworking, for sure.
Just the incentive of hard work and having a tight-knit family. I don't think I would have gotten that if he wasn't around.
Worrying a lot about everything.
You feel like you get that from grandma?
Yeah, grandma was always very worried about us and what we're doing. That and like wanting to take care of others. She always like makes sure that everybody is served before she sits down, and then even after everybody's served, she'll wait for people to like want more food to serve them before she eats anything. One quality that they both have is how much they do for others, and how much they give, and I want to do that too. I want to be as giving as they are, as compassionate as they are.
My dad's, again, one of my role models. He was very easygoing, and I think I get that a lot from him. Probably maybe just kind of go with the flow mentality.
I think I got the idea in my head that I can do a lot of like projects like the cabinets or like building things because I always saw him doing it.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have the same taste in music and movies that I do, the same appreciation for those kinds of things, for the arts, I think a lot of that comes from my brother and my mom too. Mom's really big into like the arts, theater, things like that, so I don't think I would have that in my life maybe.
From my mother, I got my caring ways, my love for my children, my family first attitude. And from my father, I got the get ahead attitude, always do your best, do it right, and don't give up and keep going.
I learned a lot from my grandparents. My grandmother taught me how to sew, how to cook, how to maintain a household. I respect them. I truly respect my grandparents.
He taught us lessons without actually saying, like, here, read the Bible or do whatever. He taught us those lessons. How to be, what I mean? How to act with other people, how to give without, expecting to receive. And I think he's the one that carried the entire family, which we went on and gave that to our kids. And I think that's why, we are who we are.
I just wouldn't be as embracing other people, like just very open and wanting to make people happy. I think that comes a lot from her, and I feel like I'm more empathetic of other people because of her.
I feel like him and I have very similar personalities, both very outgoing, driven, motivated. I think we're both leaders. I got that from him. He's a manager for my entire life.
That shopping habit I have? That definitely came from Nana. Nana taught me how to shop. She would take me shopping and she would put it on the credit card. And then we'd get back to the house and she would say, "Don't get the bags out of the trunk," because Grandpa was there. So she used to hide it from him.
I definitely got the work ethic and love your children no matter what. Because
No matter what?
yeah, no matter what.
Watching my dad, provide for us and still be the man he was in the community and still think about others, trying to do something in the community beyond myself, to make the world a better place. And that's just important. A part of being a Patterson, and Patterson name is it can't be just about you. It's got to be about the greater community and making a contribution. So, yeah, my dad.